Hey guys, I just want to first start off by saying thanks to everyone who came down today to the confidence meetup. I absolutely loved it. Just a brilliant time. A great bunch of people, and I did a post on my page about an hour or a bit or so, just sort of writing how thankful I am that I've got the confidence and the courage and the good mental health to go and do these events and give confidence to men. And it's just a great time. Don't want to overcomplicate something that's simple, but it really does. I think it saves lives. It stops people from going into really dark places. So it's a team effort today, and this event is really growing. Every event is getting bigger and bigger, and I'm proud of myself. I can feel myself getting more and more confident, more relaxed, more experienced, especially with giving value to the people that come and giving them confidence and giving them my time in the best way that I can. So I really enjoy it. I'm over the moon. It made my day today, and yeah, quite a few things to touch on the event itself. So I thought I'd extend it onto YouTube. Obviously, it's not going to be as good. It's not going to be as good coming on a live stream as it is in person, but it's still better than nothing. And I know for a lot of you, you might not agree with me, which is even better. You really enjoy these streams. So yeah, a big thanks and well done to the guys that came down, because I always say this and I mean it. I have a lot of respect. I've got respect for anyone, but especially guys who have got like bad social anxiety, fear. It's hard for them. And in the times we're living in today, people don't have to have social anxiety in order to find it difficult to meet people. So just meeting a group of like-minded people, positive people, and having a couple of hours of a social confidence coaching session. It's a big achievement today. People really struggle to leave the house and get motivated. And it's funny because I got an email today, which I'm going to answer, and it was from someone, a boy's a mother who's really concerned about her son. She's emailed me here. I'm not going to say the name. But basically, she's emailed me telling me that she's worried about her son, because he's not been diagnosed, but she thinks he's socially awkward. He doesn't go out. He just plays his Xbox. He doesn't have many friends. He's never had a girlfriend. He's not working at the moment. So she was just saying on this email that she found my work online, and she was she's sort of asking, can I help her to help him? And it really got me thinking about that today. It really made me appreciate the work that I'm doing. I mean, I've always appreciated it, and the effort that all of you are doing, because a lot of you don't realize this. I said it to the guys today. You're helping so many people by having the courage to open up about your challenges and improve them. It's a team effort. Everyone is, even if people don't realize it. So I will write back to this lady and I will give her the best advice that I can give. But it's going to be challenging because, especially in this situation, you can't really force someone to change. They've got to want to do it. But I see what she's saying. It's a generational problem at the moment where lots of kids, lots of young people of all ages, but sort of, I suppose, I don't know this guy's age, but I'm assuming she says school, so he's probably quite young. They are addicted to social media and video games, and and they're going through mental health challenges, and they're living in a time where they're feeling a lot of pressure to be popular, and to live up to what's being posted on social media. So there's that. But I'm a positive person. I do believe that things are going to get better, and they are getting better. And I said it to the guys today. Sometimes you don't realize the impact that you're making, and sometimes I don't realize the impact that I'm making. One person can, impact so many people. So we're definitely onto a good thing. And, that's what my event is about. I wanted to educate you guys more on the event, because it really is for this problem. I really relate to this, this mother's son, her worries about her son, because, you know, I was in that position, not too many, well, a few years ago, and I know so many kids are and people are. And it must be hard for a parent, a mother who's worrying about their son, because he's not leaving the house, and she's tried to help him, but he doesn't. But hopefully, the work that I've done online, or I will respond to the email, she'll be able to get through to her son, because you can change it. And I'm going to go through today some of the ways in which you can, which I have said on the channel, but I got to keep repeating it. But yeah, it's a tough one. Back in the day when I was younger, we didn't have this problem as much. It wasn't, of course, we had problems, but I don't remember there being so much mental health problems amongst men and women, especially men with social anxiety, because we were more of a social generation. We weren't stuck on social media. Don't get me wrong, I love video games growing up, and it used to bring us together. I remember at home, I loved it. Nintendo, Commodore, PlayStation. All my mates used to come to my house. It was great. There was like a whole group of us, and my parents used to love it. Because my mum and dad knew that we were safe, that we weren't out causing trouble, getting in trouble, getting into fights, or getting up to no good. And we were together, playing games, socializing, having a great time. And I used to do the same. I used to go to my mate's house as well, and their parents loved me and knew me, and do the same. But we'd also go out and play football. We would do activities. So yeah, when we were younger, of course, when we were young, you could get anxious in social situations, and I used to have it when I was younger, but it wasn't as bad as it is today. And of course, it doesn't take a G to work it out. And because we socialized more in person, where today more people around the world, especially young people, right? They spend too much time online. So when I come back today and I'm online now, I love it. It's fine. It's not unhealthy for me, because I've been out today and I've been at an event for over 3 hours doing public speaking, talking, connecting with people, teaching. So I have a lot of time in person with people. So it is a healthy balance. But a lot of people don't have that balance. And I can understand, because I've been in those patterns where you just don't want to be around people. You get nervous, you get paranoid, you get depressed, you lose confidence, you feel insecure. A lot of it comes down to, if not all of it, it's a loss of confidence. You're not in a good place, and you're stuck in your comfort zone. So um, the way to solve this, in my experience, is, well, number one, this is the challenging bit. This is the hard bit. Unfortunately, I've learned as a teacher and through my own experience, you can't force someone who doesn't want to do it, right? Everyone's got a right to say no, even though you know that you're doing good for them, and what they're doing is going to harm them. If you tell a kid or a person, leave the house, go to the gym, go to an event, look for a girlfriend, date, make friends, go out. If they physically say no, what can you do? You can't force them. You can't. So all you can do is try not to judge them, and help them, and encourage them, and speak to them, and try and get through to them. Now, funny enough, on this topic, Les Brown was able to get through to me at a time when no one could. Like, even though I always loved my parents and respected them, when I was younger, I wouldn't fully listen to a certain degree to my mum and dad, because I was scared. I lacked confidence. I had social issues and things like that, and fears. So I wouldn't take advice from friends, because it was my pride got in the way when I was younger. But Les Brown, obviously, because he's a skilled teacher and motivational speaker, because he shared his story in a way which is not, it's in a kind way, it got through to me. And I guess I've realized a lot of times when I teach, that's why I say I only coach people that are committed. And what I mean by that is, I can only coach someone who's going to give me permission and going to want to do it. Otherwise, I physically can't do it. So whether I'm doing paid coaching with someone, I only work with clients that are committed, because I know from experience you can't coach someone who doesn't want to be coached. They're not open to it. They're not going to do it, no matter how good you are. And when I'm doing free coaching, like on these streams and my events and YouTube videos, it's an invitation. I put my story out, but I don't, preach on people who don't want it. People that want it have got a choice to click the video and take the advice. So you really do have to want to change. And like one of the guys said at my event, Sometimes people have got to get to a point where they kind of like hit a low point where they just have enough of it. They want to snap out of it, and that's when they can start making changes. But I think um, I'm confident that I don't know this guy and I don't know the mother, but she's emailed me. I'm confident that her son can overcome this, as many people have. Um, yeah, just reading the email here. Yeah, see, in the email, she was saying that he won't join, a men's team. He won't go to the gym. He's never had a girlfriend. I want to help him, but he doesn't listen to my concerns. So that's the challenge for a mother or parent, which is difficult. I can imagine that. So sometimes you just have to give them space and respect their decision, even though you don't agree with it. You just hope that they're going to see sense, and you've got to find a way of communicating that will get through to someone who's in this position. And sometimes I've said this before, and I mean it respectfully. Most of our parents are not life coaches. That's not their job. They're not qualified to do what I do. So sometimes, you know, kids or even adults, they won't listen to their parents. I mean, they'll listen, but in certain areas, but they'll listen to a confidence coach like me, or Les Brown or David Goggins, because they will respect the fact that I've come from a struggling place, and I'm not talking down to them, and I'm not judging them, but I'm inspiring them, sharing my story. Does that make sense? And I know, because I've been the same in my life. I remember years ago, my dad saying to me, "I told you to do that. Why didn't you listen?" And later on, of course, I realized my dad was right. But it's like, well, I didn't listen because it's my dad telling me, and I didn't want to hear it. You're young. Sometimes you don't want to listen to your parents, which you realize as you get older. Most time it's not good. But you'll listen to someone else who's a stranger, like a boxing coach. So it's a unique type of relationship. Getting a mentor, having a coach, and it takes a certain type of communication to reach someone where they're at a certain point and help them to change. Of course, later on, most of us um, are going to realize that a lot of the values that our parents installed in us are correct. It's for our own good, but sometimes it takes a bit of time for us to realize. That's certainly been the case of me, from a lot of things that my mum and dad used to say, and I wouldn't always listen. But you suffer in life later on, and then you learn and realize my parents were right. So it is a unique situation, but yeah, I think the guy would be all right, hopefully. Yeah. So in this, hold on a second. I don't know where I get all the energy, but when you do what you love, you just get extra energy. I've been talking today for about over 3 hours. It was great, and listening. You guys can. I post up every time I do an event. I get a picture of everyone. I put it up on my social media so people can have a look. You can see it on YouTube in the community section. It's just sometimes nice to see pictures of events. It motivates you. So if any of you want to come to the next one, I've got a platform on Meetup which is growing now. It's getting close to 100 members and growing all the time. I'm running these confidence meetups for men that want to get more confident, more social, and improve their life in all aspects of life, especially with getting past social anxiety. Right. So, hold on a second. You guys can ask me any questions you want. Yeah, I think a big part of this problem today, you know, is the culture that we're living in. It's kind of created a situation where people have become so dependent on the machines, and they've lost motivation, they've lost confidence, they're not working that social muscle, and that happens when you get too addicted to machines. Whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I always knew back in the day, common sense, that a certain amount of hours on the computer is fine. totally fine. But too many hours on the computer on your own is obviously not. It's like anything in life. It's balance. You know, if you socialize too much, that could have a negative effect. It's getting the right balance, which is I can't give that exact balance to a person. Everyone's got to find that themselves. But there's a general rule of thumb. You want to be at least make it 50-50. At least make it like 50% of the time you're socializing in real life with people, and then the other 50 it's online. But I would even go as far to say probably 70-30 would be just a great sort of medium if we're going to use maths and numbers. So 70% of the time you're socializing in person with your relationships, your family, your friends, your work, your girlfriend, or you're dating or going to events, or your local meetup group or your community. And then the other 30% you spend your time online. I find when you're around positive people in person, family, friends, loved ones, you get good energy. And then when you come back on social media, you carry that energy and it goes out on social media, and it kind of works better for you. But I do realize that you need to be patient with this, because I know how stubborn um, I was at times in my life, where I just, it's fear as well. It's not like, see, that's understanding. We all struggle at times to be patient. A lot of times you think someone really enjoys suffering. They don't. Like, no one really enjoys being isolated and depressed and lonely. Nobody really enjoys it. But it's it's fear, it's stress, it's insecurity, paranoia, too much thinking. Okay, I got it now. All right, Brent. Oh, now, all right, now I know who you are. Great. Okay, because obviously I know you from Instagram and YouTube. Brilliant, man. Yeah, well done for well, thanks for updating me, because as I said, it's you don't know who people are when they're using the names. That was pretty funny. I can read between the lines there, underdog. Do you dance as well? I find it a great way to get in shape and meet women. It's funny that you mentioned that. Really coincidence that you mentioned it, because dancing come up today, and I think it's great. And I'm going to ask you a question and be honest with you. Yes, I do dance, and it was a personal, huge fear of mine, and I faced it. I faced it in Brighton on New Year's Day. I was up in Brighton. Um, with a girl that I was dating, and I faced one of my biggest fears, and I had a great time. I went to a 60s place, music was great, people were lovely, and I was grateful because even there was one guy there in a group with guys and girls, and he come and spoke to me and said, "Oh, it's amazing what you're doing." I didn't know what he was talking about, and he complimented me on my courage to dance, because there was other people that weren't dancing, but there were some great dancers. I had a great time, man. It's wonderful for confidence, and as you said, it's probably like the old school way of meeting women. I've never met a woman through dance, but of course, so many people have, and I think it's a great medium. So glad that you brought that up. One of my clients at the moment, he's doing my 1 year program, and he goes dancing regularly. He's doing salsa. So yeah, thanks for bringing it up. I think anyone on this channel who wants to build more confidence should do that. Yeah, yeah, the 60s, it was amazing. When I was at this place in Brighton, it was just great, man. There was one guy there, quite a few people. He was an amazing dancer. Can't really speak on that. I'm not really one for um, talking about people. I haven't met him. Haven't met him, so I can't really say. I haven't really watched his stuff. That question comes up a lot. People seem to ask that. Um, the only thing about live streaming on YouTube is sometimes you don't know who you're speaking to. People use different names. You don't know if it's a guy, if it's a girl. But I do understand it, though. I do understand today people use different names online, and I've used the nickname before, but now I use my proper name. So yeah, I think it takes quite a lot of confidence, and I can understand why some people don't use their name, because they feel they just feel more comfortable not using their real name. I can understand that, but it just sometimes makes it a bit more challenging for me when um, I try to talk to you, you nice people, and connect with you, and I don't always know who I'm talking to. Some of you I know, obviously, I know the names, or I've met you, or you've done coaching with me. But yeah, I love it, man. I learn so much from teaching and meeting so many interesting people and hearing their stories, and it's kind of like everybody's got their own unique story. Everyone is different, my clients, but everyone is kind of the same pattern. It's like a perpetual pattern that people struggle with, and it's like a pattern that I teach to help people to get out of that. And I suppose to make it simple, not complicate things, the pattern is people have a lot of social anxiety, a lot of anxiety, a lot of negative thoughts, challenge with mental health, and they struggle to motivate themselves to be social consistently. But on a positive note, so many people on this channel and so many clients I work with are successfully, like, they're successfully overcome that struggle. Like one of my clients at the moment, who's doing another one, doing my 1 year program. I mean, I'm not just saying it because he's my client and he works for me, but it's true. He's just gone to another level. He's overcome, his confidence is just brilliant, amazing. And he's helping other people now. He started his own business, he's doing events. It's amazing. What's up, Timmy? Good to see you, mate. Actually, one of the things I've realized lately that I'm learning, because I'm always learning, trying to get better at teaching and understanding people. Now, obviously, some people are different, but getting to know more of you, spending time, I've realized that, um, like, for example, if I say, well, why don't all of you come to my next event? I know that a lot of you probably won't come, and I don't take that personal. But if I just don't mention it, give you space, and don't put pressure on you, and just keep doing the good work, you'll come. You'll come in your own time if you get inspired. And I kind of feel like um, that's kind of what I want to write to this boy's mother, who's worried about her son, who is not getting out of the house. He's on his computer too much. It's almost like everyone's different. Like some people, they don't like it when you push them. They resist that. I was like that when I was younger. Some people do like that. They like a tough love approach, where you tell them, you call them out on their BS, and you tell them to man up, face their fears. And I used to do those coward videos, and people loved it, but it doesn't work for everyone. Some people need a more easygoing approach, where you just sort of, you don't pressure them to come along, and then they'll come in their own time. So I feel like that with a lot of you. You're getting a lot of value from the live streams. I'm doing a great job here. So are you guys. And you'll come down to my event in your own time if you fancy it. Just try and read your writing there. The grammar's a bit. Do you recommend menu coach to dress up in suits to help me, or to help them with women and get jobs? Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, look, it's not a necessity, but it does help. So I'm not saying that guys have to wear a suit to get a job and to get a relationship, because that's a bit extreme and that's not entirely true. But it does really help. It does look good when you wear a suit. And as you can see, I'm not in a suit today, but I do wear a suit a lot. I wear them in my videos. I like suits. I wear them when I teach. So I wouldn't say that you got to wear a suit every day unless you want to do that. That's fine. But I would say it is good to be in the mindset in the mindset of taking care of yourself and making a good impression and looking after yourself and being smart. So kind of yes and no to answer your question. But I did see a video that I liked, and she said number one was in a suit, and it was good hearing that from her, because I kind of knew that from my own experience, but I like to get the opinion of women and what they like as well. So yeah, suits are great. I love suits. One of my clients, he's started his business. I've helped him to start a YouTube channel, and he wears a suit, and it looks great. It looks smart, professional. So yeah, suits are great. But you can mix it up as well. You can wear casual clothes. I mix it up. I've got suits in my wardrobe. I wear my casual clothes. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, underdog. Definitely. They both can work. They both have their place. But yeah, I just want to say I appreciate all the support on the channel. You guys are great. This sort of momentum we've got going, it's making a big difference. I mean, I know I help a lot of you, and you guys are grateful, and I'm grateful that you appreciate the help I'm giving you. But you guys also help me as well. I'm grateful for um, getting good business quite consistently, making a living, and also not just making a living financially doing what I love, but just the joy of people appreciating the work that I do. And that's why I do a lot of stuff for free, because it's always, for me, it's the right thing to do. And also, obviously, getting paid very well to do what you love, which is something um, that I hope all of you can do if you want to. That's a good point. I mean, I also think it's about respecting yourself as well. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to wear things to impress women or other people. It's for yourself so you can feel good. And I know for me, I've always loved suits since I was young, since I was a kid. We wore a suit, we went to school. My mum always kind of dressed me in suits. I saw my dad growing up dressing smart. So it's I like it. And I would actually say anyone out there, if you've got the money, invest in at least one suit. I invested in a suit when I made some more money in my business. I went out and it was treating myself, and it comes in handy. If there's special occasions, or if I'm doing an event, or I've got a date, or a gathering to go to, or a Christmas or christening, you've got a nice suit in the cupboard to wear, and it does look good. I mean, when boxers are in the ring, they fight, but when they're at the press conference, you see boxers wearing suits. So especially if you're in business, a suit is great. It does make you feel good, especially if you get one that suits your personality and your look and stuff. So yeah, on the topic of suits, um, you guys have inspired me. I want to buy another one soon. I had a lovely one years ago. I'm a bit gutted that I don't know what I done with it. I lost it. It was in my old videos. So I used to have a really nice grey one with a pink shirt. It was a lovely suit, and I'm a bit sad. What can you do? Never mind. But I didn't end up looking after it. I don't know what I done with it. Basically, guys, as well, I've left the link. I've left the link if you want to join the meetup. The meetup's basically where I run all these groups, so you get notified when they're on, and you can come along if you want. I would also say it'd be good for you guys to join it, because there are lots of groups on Meetup, not just my group. You've got hundreds of groups on different things: dating, cooking, socializing, walking, business. So it's one of the best ways to improve, social anxiety, etc. Yeah, I've left yeah, yeah, that's it. That's what it's about. It's yeah. Always loved the motivational field as well. People like Les Brown and Anthony Robbins and Brian Tracy, all the old school guys. You know, I always saw them in suits. It motivated me. So yeah, you can't go wrong in a suit. When you wear a suit and you go into Starbucks or any shop, it's quite funny how they address you as sir. They always call me sir when I got a suit on, but if I'm wearing casual clothes or normal clothes, they just say, you know, what do you want? But yeah, they seem to call you. It's fascinating how people change. You know, people change the way that they value you and talk to you when you're wearing a suit. Not, I'm not like that. I don't do that with people, but a lot of people are programmed like that. So it just goes to show how powerful the symbol is of a suit. But yeah, try it one day as a social experiment. Maybe I'll do a video at some point. Who knows? Wear casual clothes and go into different shops and see how they address you. Put on a suit and go into the same shop maybe a day later or other shops, and you'll notice that I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people will address you differently. They call you sir and they have respect for you. Suit, and it doesn't mean it's true, but you know, they see you as being more valuable because a suit sort of symbolizes success and all that. Uh, do I agree that the more you hesitate, the more difficult something becomes? 100% already agree on that. Spend so much time waiting for the right time. I've learned you just got to throw yourself in, waiting for bad for social anxiety. Yeah, I was saying the same today. There was a guy at my event, at my free event, and he was telling me his problems and stuff. And I gave him a lot of free value already at the event. And I said, look, why don't you do my paid weekend program? Then he was like, oh, well, not now. And I said, when? When is the right time? Now is the time. If you use excuses, you're going to keep putting it off, and you're not going to face this social anxiety, and you're not going to improve. The problem is going to get worse. So, 100% what you said is true, and that's one of my core principles on this channel to tell people do it as quick as you can, get it out of the way. I learned that. I'm learning. I done the same years ago with the boxing down the gym. I kept putting off the sparring because I was scared of it. Didn't want to get knocked out. Didn't want to get embarrassed. Didn't want to lose. So I kept avoiding the sparring. But every time I avoided it, I felt bad about myself because I felt like a coward. I wasn't facing what I needed to face. I was doing the training, which is great. It's fun. It's good for you. But sparring is the real thing you've got to do if you want to improve at boxing and self-defense. So I kept putting it off. And then I got to a point where I couldn't do it no more. The pain of putting it off was so painful. I thought I'd rather get in. And if I get knocked out, I get knocked out and beaten up. And I got in, and I felt better. I felt better for doing it. I got more confident at it. You know, you appreciate yourself more and others by going through that and taking action as soon as possible. So yeah, 100%. But that's that's a story of humankind. Overthinking, putting things off, not wanting to face them because being scared of getting uncomfortable, and being scared of the fear of failing and the fear of being judged, and also the fear of success. You're welcome. You're welcome, Brent. I think you're like you said, Brent. That really, I know it really helped me, and I know it helps my clients, and it seems to help my clients even more when sometimes I have to explain to them how bad I used to be because they can easily forget that I had really bad social anxiety. It wasn't that long ago. You know, we're talking about 10 years ago, maybe a bit longer. And when I explain it to them, it makes my clients feel better. They don't feel something's wrong with them, and then they realize that they can improve more. And that's a good thing about going to a group meeting, just men's support groups or social anxiety groups, that you realize that you're not on your own. And more importantly, I said this today to a guy that came. He doesn't know me from the channel. He came just on Meetup. He randomly found my event. I really respected him, appreciated him. I don't think he was socially awkward, but he said he was. He thinks he is. So he came. He spoke to me at the group, said he was really nervous. He really struggles with people in conversations. And I said to him, it's a blessing because he can make such a big improvement if he keeps doing what he's doing. And I tried to explain to him that I've worked with different people over the years, and I'm not saying this is always the case, but as a common pattern, the guys who are the most socially anxious at the start, they're really nervous, even with meeting me. They tend to get the best results in the end. They make the most progress on coaching. And I figured out the answer to that question because I asked one of my clients and my own experience because they want it bad. They don't want to stay suffering. And one of my clients did the same. He's brilliant. I said to him, I'm fascinated. You're so motivated. I said, I'll be honest. I wish everyone was like you because my job would be easier. I wish everyone was as committed as you are in the coaching. I wish I could be wrong. And I said, how are you so committed? And he said, Jonathan, I can't go back. I can't go back to the way I was. It was too painful. I was stuck at university. I didn't speak to anyone. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't go on dates. I was nervous. I was shy with family. He goes, I can't go back there. I can't be that guy anymore. So that summed it up. Now, unfortunately, I won't be doing videos like that anymore. I know you appreciate them, and a lot of people did, and I appreciate that. But I'm in a different place now, so now I've got a different mission now. So I won't be doing infield videos like I used to, because I really did give it everything that I had, and I enjoyed it at the time. But it's not right for where I'm at now. But I appreciate you asking, man. I'm glad it helped. What I'm focusing more now on than infield videos on YouTube is the meetups and sharing my story in the talks. But yeah, I'll say it again. I do appreciate all the support on this channel. Everyone who just subscribes, comments, comes on the live stream, even people that have been following me for years. It's lovely when you come back and say you're married now, you got kids, or you're in a better place, or you've come back on the channel to see how I'm doing, to thank me, or to let me know the progress you're making there. It's a very nice feeling. It's very, very great. So I do appreciate it. And all the newcomers as well. I always get happy when new people come on the channel and they find my videos on social anxiety or confidence or business or relationships and they check in. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I appreciate that you got a good attitude, because sometimes people get very upset when I tell them that I don't do those videos no more. They almost get offended in it. And, they shouldn't really get offended, but I understand people get disappointed because they want the content. But I've always said I wouldn't do things just to please other people if it goes against my principles, my values, and I'm not happy doing it. So there is a balance of how I want to help people, make people happy, give them confidence, but I wouldn't do it at the cost of jeopardizing my whole life, even if it meant, which I do, I lose a lot financially, but I'd rather lose financially and sleep well at night and follow my heart. So yeah, I appreciate you having a good attitude around it and appreciating the time when I did do it. It was right for that time. And you're right, evolution is the right word. We improve, we evolve, we get older, certain things we change. That's part of living and learning, isn't it? But yeah, it was a great effort today from the guys, man. It was a really good group. I kind of wish I had it on camera, man. I'll be honest. I wish people could see it, could see just the honesty, the great just the realness of it. I think I'm pretty certain unless you're a really negative person, everyone would love it, not just men and women, old and young. People would really appreciate an honest group of people improving their life, being open about their anxieties and coming up with a strategy to improve them. And you're seeing the improvement in a couple of hours where a group of people meet. We first met at a station today. I gave a little speech in Covent Garden. I don't know why I'm laughing. A little Winston Churchill speech, not exactly, a little bit of motivation. I said to the guys, look, it's okay to be a bit awkward at the start because it happens generally when I do groups. People meet and they're a bit awkward or they're a bit quiet. Not everyone, but generally it happens. It's a pattern you see when a group of people first come together and they're a bit, and that's nice. There's nothing wrong with that. And I said, it's fine. It's a non-judgmental environment. Be okay with being awkward. In 10 minutes or half an hour, we're going to loosen up. We're going to come out of our shell. You're going to get more relaxed, get to know one another, and you're going to feel you're not going to feel awkward. And that's what happened. You sort of see that transformation happen, in a couple of hours. And one guy who came, he's a brilliant guy. He's really taken a liking to him. Quite a lot of people like him because he's got quite a severe stammer. He stutters at times, but he's come to quite a few of my events, and I admire the courage. You know what I mean? There's just something likable about him, and he's improving. And he said, when I have quite a few conversations with people, I get more confident. But it takes me some time. And I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Just that's not make that work for you. I've seen it. It was great what he said. Basically, what he's saying is he struggles at the start to talk to people because he gets a bit nervous and awkward and he stutters. But after half an hour, or talking to several people at an event, his confidence comes and he finds it easier. And I said, that's a story of most of our lives. And that was always kind of same for me, same when I was starting out doing the videos. You guys used to see me doing the infill videos at the start. I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of the time I was quite shy at the start and nervous and awkward. But once I got going, once I had a couple of conversations and got through any sort of rejection or objection and got my confidence, you'd see the confidence come, and I'd have good connections with women and it would go well, and people watched it would really love seeing that because everyone would relate to that. Everyone would relate to that sort of journey of someone starting, it doesn't have to be in public, but just in any situation, someone being quite nervous and shy and struggling, but then after coming out of their shell, coming into their personality and being confident and relaxed, it's a great thing to see. I love it when I see it. I get to see it with my clients every week. I said it before, I won't mention his name in case, but I worked with a client a couple of weeks ago from Scotland. He came down, great guy. And it was a one-on-one program. So I was working with him for the weekend. It's intense, because it's all one-on-one. And we sat down, I took him to a coffee shop, sat down, and, like a lot of people, he was, a bit shy, a bit anxious with me, bit reluctant to open up. But then after like half an hour, I told him, I had a chat with him, made him comfortable, told him about my story, my struggles, things that helped me. He opened up, and we had a great weekend. He had a lot of confidence, a lot of ability, and he told me that. He said, I used to be really confident, Jonathan, but I lost my confidence throughout the sort of COVID. My social anxiety come back, and then he got a therapist, which is a good thing to do. She helped him. She encouraged him to go out, take courses. And, by the second day, you're kind of talking to a different person. We were talking for hours. In the end, we were both knackered in a good way. So it was great what the guy said today at the event. Everyone can take something from that sometimes we forget that. We just put a label on ourselves because we go, oh, this is how I am in social situations. But it's like, well, if we really look at that and analyze it, it's like, that's not really who you are. That's just how you are at the start when you're shy and you're not warmed up and you're nervous and you're in your head. Once you get out of your head, once you get relaxed with people, once you calm down and you feel comfortable, everyone's confident. Everyone can do it. And I know because I did it. I used to be the same. And I used to let the voices in my head convince me that I'm not good socially. I can't talk to people. I'm awkward. I'm uncomfortable. I might make them uncomfortable. I'm not confident. It wasn't actually true. I I told myself that it was a learned behavior. It's a psychological problem, and you blow it out of proportion. But when I started to practice more, I say, bloody hell, I'm really good. I'm really confident. And that's really where all my teachings come from, real experience, taking action. You can't learn this by reading. Reading books will not solve this problem. You have to get out at some point and you've got to talk to people. So yeah, I really like what the guy said. I always see that's the crazy thing, great thing about coaching my job. A lot of the times when I'm coaching someone, I listen to them. A lot of times people don't realize they tell you their problem and they tell you the solution. But a lot of the times, because people are stuck in a certain mindset, they're in fear, they're stressed, whatever they're going through. They don't seem to focus on the solution. They get addicted to the problem. So this guy today said what his problem was. He said the solution. He said his problem is at the start of all social interactions with family, friends, or whoever, he's nervous, he's awkward, he's uncomfortable. But once he gets warmed up and he has a couple of conversations, he's very, very confident. So he's just answered his own question. So I said to him, so be aware of being patient with yourself. Don't panic, don't judge yourself, and just give yourself a bit more time, and you're going to get there in the end. So it's probably going to be a case for him where every time he meets someone new or he goes to an event, he's going to struggle for the first 10 to 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. He's going to suffer. But if he can accept that, then for the next hours, couple of hours, or for the whole day, he's going to be in flow. He's going to be great. So it's worth it. I don't mind that. And I'm a bit like that as well. I said to the guys today, I'm really confident because I like speaking. I've got a gift for it. I've been doing it for a long time. But sometimes I'm human. There are times where it takes me 10 minutes to get warmed up because I've got some nerves, some anxiety. I'm a bit stuck in my head. I might, not have had enough sleep, whatever the case may be. But once I get warmed up, I get my confidence and I find my voice. I'm I'm just as good as anyone, and so is everyone else. So it's knowing these things, but of course it's a muscle, and you got to work at it because if you just sit at home and just say, well, I'm awkward, but when I warm up, I'm really confident with people, even though that's true. But if you don't do it, then you're the one that's losing out. But yeah, anyone can do it, really. A lot of these things, I'm not saying it's not challenging because at times it's really challenging for people with this particular problem. But a lot of the times it's not as bad as we make it out. My dad used to always say that to me growing up. It's not as bad as you're saying it is. You're blowing it out of proportion, not denying that it can be an issue, anxiety and nervousness and shyness. It can be really hard for people, but we do exaggerate it. We do blow it out of proportion. I've coached hundreds of people over the years, and I've had so many clients say to me, I'm so bad in social interactions. I can't speak to people. I can't relax. And once I get them relaxed and talking to people, it's like you can do it. You're doing it now. You said you can't do it, but you've been talking to me for an hour in depth, in detail, telling me every intricate goal, passion, hobby, where you've traveled, friends. So you can do it, but you're just focusing on the negative too much. You're looking at all the times where you couldn't speak, or all the little social mistakes that you've made, or when you got awkward, but you're not looking at all the things that you did right. And I suppose that comes down to discipline, positive thinking, and it's a real human struggle to look at, to do what they kind of do in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, when they really do challenge people's negative beliefs about themselves and they look at the evidence that usually supports that those beliefs don't have to be true, and a lot of times they're not factual. They're kind of like phantom thoughts in your head that you start believing. So I always get my clients to, of course, be accountable and change things that you need to work on, but I really get them to focus on the positives, what they're doing right, what they're good at, and so forth. Um, I think you've got to answer that question. If I'm being honest, I can't really answer that for you in regards to do I reckon you should speak to women in town. I think I want you to answer, and I'm not being difficult. I want to help you. I want you to really think, because at the end of the day, it's your dating life, and you got to choose what works for you. I could tell you what I think, but it might not be accurate. So I think you've got to make a decision, and you've got to create a situation where you speak to more women on whatever platform you use. Can't answer that question, Tim. As well, don't. That's too. It's too. It's too vague. It's too broad, and I don't have. I haven't got the answer to that question. But yeah, appreciate your question. One thing I would say, and I know that some of these questions are relevant. I said this to someone at the event, and a lot of relationship experts will give this advice, men and women. Sometimes, guys put too much pressure on themselves that they have to get numbers and approach women, and that just goes against you. You really want to create a life where you're happy in your life, you're social, you've got a purpose, you've got goals, you're going to the gym, you're going to events, and then wherever you are, if you see someone you like, a woman, you speak to her. You don't have to be so rigid and close-minded with, oh, should I do online dating or should I speak to women? I understand where you guys are coming from. Should I approach in a public or a supermarket? You need to just be open and enjoy life. One of my clients, he's been dating a girl, and he met her naturally at the supermarket, and that's just a great place to meet someone if it's natural. And so I'm not going to get limited. We're going to think bigger, because you just don't know where you're going to meet someone. You could be at an airport, but if you're in the right mindset and you're positive and you're respectful and you practice the principles that I teach on this channel, which is to be respectful when you're speaking to anyone, women as well, anybody, and you're honest, and you're not forcing things, and you're not trying to force phone numbers, you're going to get great results, because you just never know who you're going to meet. But I'd say the first step is to leave the house. So I think today there is a generational problem where men, they box things to, you know, oh, online dating or in public or at an event. It's like, broaden your horizon, try online dating, do speed dating, go out, go to coffee shops, socialize, and let it happen naturally. That's how I met my last girlfriend that I met. I met her in a park naturally. It wasn't planned. It wasn't forced. Nothing needed to be planned or forced. I was enjoying my life, living my passion. I went to the park to get a coffee. I love parks. I was shooting a video. I was on my way home. I said hello. I was going to leave. She stopped. She continued to talk to me. She invited me on a date. I didn't have to ask her for a phone number, because it's natural. It's honest. She said, join me. And then we ended up dating. I ended up traveling different countries. We had an amazing connection. But I couldn't have forced that. I couldn't have planned that. It wouldn't be natural. So if I could give you guys the most valuable thing today on relationships and meeting women, I can't give you anything better than that. And when I've gone online, because I like to learn from other people, because I don't know everything, when I listen to really good relationship experts who are older than me and a bit wiser than me, in certain areas, they're giving the same advice. There's some good women teachers out there, and I listen to them, and they teach men how to meet women and be honest and build connections. And this is the same advice they give, and they're right. They say things like, be open-minded, don't be closed-minded, don't be the sort of guy that says, oh, it has to be on the street, oh, it has to be in a nightclub, it has to be online dating. That's fine. If that's your choice, then you're living your life. I can't tell you how to live your life. But if you're asking me for help, which you are asking me, you got to loosen up more. You got to become a happy man, enjoying life, honesty, being social, and that's when it always the old school are right. Our fathers, our mothers, it happens when you don't expect it. But of course, I'm not saying sit at home on your butt and isolate yourself from women, from people. Of course not. But it's a better mindset that I'm teaching. But I do understand it. I do understand that we are in a challenging time where meeting people has gotten harder. There's no doubt about it. Why? Well, because everybody's addicted to the machines. Well, most people are. Everyone's stuck on dating apps, on Instagram, on TikTok. But you could choose to break out of that. And I do it. My clients do it. My friends do it by getting out and going to events. And I've said it before. I'm not forcing you guys, but those of you that are having challenges, come to my meetup group, get around like minded people. You might meet the love of your life um, on on the way to my meetup. Thanks, Benny. I appreciate that, man. I hope you're well as well. Yeah, yeah, I'm about 86 kilos now. I've lost, well, I was 96 kilos, so I'm in much better shape, enjoying it. And I've been putting the clips out to motivate people on this channel. That's another thing that really helps is getting in shape. But I do understand, the challenges that people face, but it tends to happen like that. When I think back to most of the great relationships I had, I always, even though a lot of relationships I met, I didn't meet them online dating in person. It happened when I wasn't expecting it. It happened when I was just enjoying my life. I was with a friend or I was going about my day, and we just sort of attracted one another. And yeah, I may have started the conversation, um, but it was not forced. There was not pressure, and that's when the best relationships generally tend to happen. But it's a tricky one. Love and dating can be really easy, but like life, it can be very challenging. And that's why it's something that we're always trying to improve on and educate ourselves on. And obviously, with a society that is constantly changing, and this is good today, this is not good tomorrow, it makes it ever so more challenging. But I still stand on what I believe and I've experienced. If guys really work on their self esteem and they improve their attitude towards themselves, women, and life, and they have a good outlook on women and good mental health, and they're doing positive things, you're going to attract a great woman into your life, and that goes for people in general. But obviously, that takes courage. You've got to work at things. You've got to mature. You've got to take responsibility. But it's worth it, I believe. There's actually a friend of mine, right? He never took paid coaching with me, which is fine. I really like him. And he followed my channel for quite a few years when he was really struggling with women and self-esteem and relationships. He's a fan of the channel and he's a friend of mine. I actually I was grateful. I did a couple of business coaching sessions with him a few months ago because he got into real estate and he needed some help with his confidence. And he's married. He met his wife, and he told me a great story on how he met his wife. And he said, he didn't approach her on the street or in Starbucks or online dating, but he met her. He said accidentally when he was on his travels, he was traveling, and he met the love of his life. So sometimes you got to take a trip. You don't know who you're going to meet, and I love his story. Um, if I can remember, yeah, he met her on his travels, so that can happen. People can meet that way. So what I'm trying to say is to people, whoever's listening to my stream, you got to be more open minded. A lot of people today, I hear it on the channel, and it's like, oh, I have to just do it this way. It's like, no, you don't just have to do it that way. It's people. People are human. You don't have to be closed minded. Like I said, one of you asked me earlier about dancing. I went to a 60s place, a great time in Brighton. I was with a girl that I was dating, but if I wasn't and I was single, I could have met a nice woman in that place dancing. So try different things, guys. Take up dancing, go swimming, go to the gym, go to classes, you don't know who you're going to meet. Be open minded. I'm going to make a video on that actually at some point. We'll cover this. Wow, this is great. The group's really growing here. How many members? Okay. Yeah, at some point, guys, actually, these events I'm doing are great. Um, I can't say the exact date, but by the end of the year, I'm going to do a really big event, and I'm going to invite a lot of people down, and you guys can come down, and we'll have a great day, a whole day of like a positive event on confidence, relationships, success, business. I'm going to build up to something big, and invite a lot of you down and get a nice place, hire it out. I used to do that back in the day and have a great time. And the meetups that I'm doing at the moment, which are amazing. I'm very grateful from which are, on average we're getting like between 10 and 12 people. They're giving me more motivation and confidence and passion to put on a bigger event, and I'll hire out a venue, invest in it in a bigger venue, and get more people down so we can have like a successful like motivation supportive sort of self-improvement event. That would be fantastic. I'm definitely going to achieve that goal and get you guys to come down. We'll have a great time. By the way, just to let you guys know, I've got the weekend confidence program coming up next weekend. I've got two people on it. I've got two spaces left. So if anybody wants to join, you've still got time. This is great for getting over social anxiety and improving your confidence and your relationships with women, people. Amazing experience. So if you want to apply, send me an email. I can give you all the details, the price, the time. It's Saturday and Sunday next weekend, 5 hours Saturday, 5 hours Sunday. There's going to be a group of us, and we're going to have a great time, build a lot of confidence, a lot of socializing. So I've got that. Also, as well, if any of you are interested in doing one-on-one coaching with me for getting over social anxiety, I offer coaching for that. A 1 year coaching for people that want to invest in a year with me. For people that want to do short-term coaching, 6 weeks, or online session, just send me an email and I can get back to you, and I'll explain to you how it works, and also find out if I can work with you, what your specific goals are. So for one-on-one coaching, send me an email. For long-term coaching, if you want to do the group program, and also if you want to come to one of my events, drop me an email, and I'll give you the details. But yeah, I appreciate everyone today coming on the stream. Maybe we'll get a few more minutes, a few more questions, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Also, follow me on Instagram as well. What is my Instagram name? I know it. I just want to make sure the right order. So on Instagram, yeah, if you my Instagram is confidence coach Jonathan. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll get a lot of value, and you'll get to see the pictures of my events, of all of us and the guys. It's quite inspiring. I also post up clips of my weight loss transformation, my diet, my training, and there's some pictures of some of my travels. It's very positive. So if you're into Instagram, you can follow me there. I do quite like Instagram. So yeah, you can follow me on here on Instagram. What else we got? If you want to join my newsletter, I've also got a free newsletter where I send out a lot of value and tips. If you give me your email and I've got your permission, I can add you to my mailing list, and then you get tips through the newsletter. It's another medium of inspiration. My height, I think I'm roughly about 6'1", something like that. So yeah, follow me on Instagram at Confidence Coach Jonathan to get more confidence, more inspiration, and check out events I've got coming up, etc. Also, if you're new to this channel, I really appreciate you coming on, hit that subscribe button. And again, any recommendations for videos, put the questions on one of my videos. I'll read it. And if I can, I'll answer your question and I'll make a video. Again, thanks for all the support so far on the channel. It's been great. And the events. And I always say it as well, I'm really grateful for the consistent business that I get, especially from all the clients that invest financially into my coaching, which is life changing, and people that are. I've said it before, and I never lose gratitude. I'm amazed that people travel from all around the world to do my coaching. They travel down from Scotland, from America, all different parts of the world. I was working with a guy a few weeks ago from California. It's just amazing. It's like I'm living in a dream. I'm from London, grew up in a small council estate, and I get to meet people from all different parts of the world and have really meaningful coaching conversation with them and get to know them and help them. And they help me because I'm helping them. So it's what can you say, man? That's what you can do if you have got the guts to face your fears and work on your confidence and not listen to what negative people think. Pray for them, appreciate them, and don't be afraid of their opinion. It's unbelievable what you can do. That's why I've started to get pictures because over the years I didn't really get pictures. You know, you forget, time moves forward. So Instagram is becoming a bit like a memorabilia. I do like these pictures. I've got to say, there's something about just the honesty and the positivity that comes off, pictures when people are having a great time. It kind of, you can tell, can't you? You can tell the difference when it's a fake picture where people are just doing it to show off and it doesn't really inspire you, as opposed to when someone's put up a picture or a video and it's coming from a good place. You can feel it. What's the difference between moving on and abandoning your own emotions? Well, that's a good point. I mean, that can be interpreted in so many different ways. I won't even try and answer that question in full because we'll be here all night. But I see where you're getting at, and I think there's a balance, like you said, with honoring your emotions and not abandoning them, because that's not good. If you keep denying your emotions, that's what can cause mental illness. But at the same time, it ain't healthy to get stuck in emotions of anger or negativity and then you're not moving on. So I think you got to, it's getting a balance which you can get where you honor your emotions, what you're dealing with, you know, you deal with them, but then you move forward. And I think the two go hand to hand in a positive way. And I was saying it to a client the other day. He was in a session. He was having a challenging time with anger, with emotions, with people that hurt him in the past. And I said to him, "Look, I understand you're angry. I understand all these things. It's not nice, but you're not going to help yourself. You're going to have to move forward if you want to be better." And you might not want to hear that. And it took him a while, but then he got it. He realized it was going to help him. So I said, focus on where you want to go, not who made you angry 20 years ago. You can't change that. You got to let go of that. You've processed it. It's not right. The person upset you or hurt you. It was wrong. But if you don't let go of that, they're ruining your life. They're controlling your life. So he said, well, how do I move forward? I said, well, it's simple. Set a goal. We've set goals in the coaching. That's what I'm helping you for. That's what you're paying me for, to help you. You give me permission and take action on your goals. And I said, the more you take action on your goals, you'll start noticing that you'll heal more. You won't be as angry towards people. And he said, he said, you're right. I said, I know I'm right. It works because it worked for me. And all successful people do this approach. There's only so many ways to get past trauma and anxiety. And one of the quickest ways is, yes, at some point, process it, talk to someone about it, deal with the emotions, but you've got to move forward. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Traveling helps. Anything that's, like you said, that's action orientated, moving forward. I know that many people, yeah, use traveling as a therapy. But yeah, traveling definitely helps. Again, I suppose it's finding what works for you. But in my experience, generally, um, one of the ways in which people go wrong is they get stuck in the past. And it's common knowledge. Go online, listen to anyone with any experience, common sense, and I can tell you from my life journey, the first 15 years, that's why I struggled. I couldn't let go. I was stuck in in my emotions. Couldn't let go of being angry towards other people that had hurt me, or things that went wrong, or being down. You can become a prisoner. You put yourself in prison, you don't realize you do it, but you're the one that can break yourself out of it by setting the right goals, having accountability, being social, taking action, enjoying your life, and getting some support from a mentor or groups like this, or helping people. You find your own way, but ultimately it is in the end you've got to move forward and get past it. But it's hard. It's hard. It's easy to say these things, but there's times where it is hard for everyone. But just everyone goes through this. But I will say this: we will end on this. There's two types of people in this world, and Les Brown said this a long time ago, and it helped me when I was struggling. There's people who they complain and moan about how bad things are and how unfair it is, and they become victims, and they never really move beyond that. They just stay there. And there's people who use their pain and they go and do something great with it. They don't let other people dictate their happiness and keep them in miserable places. So I know who I chose to be in the end, and I encourage other people, the second one, who makes their life great, despite the challenges and the emotional things that you go through. How do you build up the courage to start approaching people when the very thing that you fear is your social anxiety sabotaging your interactions by making things awkward? That's a great question. Very good question. I like the way that you've termed it. And it's kind of difficult for me to answer that because I've been answering that question for the vast hour and 12 minutes. And I'm quite tired now. And I've been at an event today answering that for 3 hours. But I'll say this: you need a purpose. You need a bigger reason. You need a big goal. And it's got to be so important to you and so meaningful to you personally, regardless of what anybody else thinks, that it motivates you beyond your social anxiety and beyond the fear of you sabotaging your interactions because they may get awkward. So you need a purpose. And that's something that I can't give you your purpose. I can only share my story and tell you what you need to do. And that's how I overcame it. And everyone's purpose is different, which is great. So I don't know what your purpose is, but I would say if you can answer that question, and it's not intellectual, it's not logical, it's more emotional from the heart, you will succeed. You will overcome this problem. I can't answer that question, Johnny, to be honest. That's too broad. And again, respectfully, I want you to take some responsibility, and I want you to answer that question because that's not on me. That's on you to answer that. But I appreciate your question, and you've got every right to ask me. But I can't answer that. You've got to answer that question. That's so broad. That's so on the individual. So I can't give an indefinite answer because I don't have one. It's a bit like me saying, what age should a man stop going to the gym? I'll leave you with that clue. But yeah, back to the other question that I really like, and it's kind of the question of my whole business model. How does a person get the courage to start approaching people when they've got anxiety and they need a purpose and need a vision? And sometimes you've got to get a mentor to help you, to give you that strength and support to get you past that fear. And I know for me starting out, when I was struggling with the same thing you're struggling right now, I couldn't get past it. But when I found my purpose, Les Brown motivated me and inspired me and educated me, and he helped me to find my purpose. My purpose was I got to get over this. I got to get a girlfriend. I want to be confident. I don't want to be depressed. I want to start making money. I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to be in depression anymore. And that was what motivated me and got me beyond my social anxiety and helped me to overcome the awkwardness. And that's why I've said it in quite a lot of the videos. And some people don't get it, and that's fine. I understand that can be a bit deep, but I've said before, the likelihood is if you don't have a strong purpose or a strong goal specifically, you're not going to be motivated to overcome your social anxiety. It's not enough for me just to say, well, if you've got social anxiety, you've got to face it, you've got to take action and socialize, which is true. Some people they'll listen to that, but many people, and I get it, I understand, believe me, it ain't going to be enough to get them past it, which is why you need to come to courses, you need to do programs. Sometimes you need to invest in a mentor so I can build your courage and confidence up, and then you can do it. So if you can answer that question, as I've said, you don't have to answer it right now. Take some time. And I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but I mean this. It's not an intellectual thing, it's from the heart. It has to come from passion, the heart. And if you can find it, and I believe you can, you will get the motivation and you will find the courage within yourself to face the fear. You've got to want it bad enough. I said it earlier on. My client Phil, who's making so much progress, he's transformed his life with his social anxiety. He wanted it so badly. He said to me, I can't go back, Jonathan, to the way I was. That's why I invested in the coaching with you. And when we first worked together again, I didn't know him. I didn't know we were going to work this long together. He emailed me during the COVID time and I wasn't coaching then. And I said to him, I'm not coaching right now. I'm not working. I'm recovering from mental health. But when I get back, I'll get in touch with you. I kept my word. And when I got well again and I started teaching, I messaged him. I said, look, if you're still interested in the coaching, we can talk. We went on a Zoom call. I liked him straight away. I thought he's trustworthy, this guy. Um, he booked the 6 weeks program. We worked together in London. He lives outside of London. It went really well. I thought that's it. He's done the 6 weeks program. He made a lot of progress. Didn't expect any more. And then he said, "Can I do another 6 weeks?" I said, "Yep." Then he did another one, and then he asked me, "Could you help me to start a business?" I said, "Yeah." And then we got on well. And then I said to him, "Well, I've got a 1 year program. You know, you're doing these 6 weeks programs, which are great, and you've got a long term goal." And then he agreed. He said, "Yeah, I was going to ask you anyway." So I'm telling this story, and the moral of the story is yes, investing is important, but it's more about it goes beyond um, coaching and financially investing. It's the heart. You know, I believe that he would have succeeded. I believe he would have succeeded without me and without my coaching. But with my coaching and my help, he was able to do it quicker because he's got the drive. And when he said to me that he could never go back to being the way that he was, it was too painful. I knew he was going to succeed because he has a purpose, he has a reason, he has a passion that is stronger than the fear and the anxiety. And I'm confident that will help anyone listening to this. Um, no, coaching doesn't include a video course. I don't need that in my coaching because it's so effective. There's no need for giving video courses, even though there's value in that. And maybe at some point I will build a video course and sell it. I could make a lot of money doing that, help a lot of people. But my coaching's so effective that you don't need video courses because you gain confidence and success um, through the coaching and all the online, if that makes sense. So yeah, you know, if you really want something bad enough, it's a bit like this, guys. I want to make a point of you. You know, I mean this kindly. So many people complain and say that they're not happy with their weight and they want to lose weight, they want to get in shape, but they don't do it. And they don't do it because they can't do it. It's because they're not passionate enough. They're not hungry enough. Because if they were really hungry and they really wanted to do it, they would lose the weight. They would find a way to do it. And that's what coaching comes down to. Social anxiety is no different. You know, okay, losing weight and facing the fear of talking to people are two different practices, but the principles are the same. If you really want to do something, no one's going to stop you. No excuses. You're not going to say, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. As Les Brown said from one of his great mentors, successful people um, find resources, they find a way to do it. And if they don't have the resources and they don't have the way, they'll find a way to do it anyway. It's no excuses. But I'm going to do a video on that because I really do love the conversations. I love the questions. Appreciate you guys. You kind of helping me to help more people and kind of really understand the value of my teaching and what works, why it doesn't work, the motivation. And I'm going to do a video on that question. How do you build up the courage to start approaching people when you've got social anxiety, awkwardness? I'm gonna go into that. All right, guys. We'll end on a good note. It's been great today. I really enjoyed the stream. Sure, man. I tell you what, right? Send me an email or give me your email address, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the email. Sorry, I'm going to send you the next date of my weekend program, and would love to see you on it. That would be great. I didn't expect that. So if you give me your email, I'll give you mine, and then I'm going to give you the next date because I do them every month. I love your question, and it would be great to have you on the weekend program. So my email's there. I appreciate that, Johnny, man. Thank you, man. It means a lot that I've helped you. I've said it again, and I won't get bored of saying it. I'm very thankful to all of you, because you help me because you allow me to help you, and that means a lot. And I'll say it again, right? Not that you guys are asking me. I like saying this out loud. Listen, for anyone who says, well, they don't have the money for my coaching, it's too expensive, which it is, and I don't apologize for it because it's very valuable and I work hard to learn this stuff. I put so much stuff out for free, so you don't need money to overcome social anxiety, and you don't need money to get my help because you don't have to pay anything, right? So for anyone who says that, you're making excuses. I understand why you're saying it because I used to do the same when I was younger. Oh, it's not fair. I don't have the money. I can't afford it. But I didn't have money when I started out and I didn't need any money. I learned from Les Brown. I didn't spend any money. I couldn't afford his coaching when I started. I had no money. So I appreciated the free content that he gave me. I went out, I faced my fears, took responsibility. And then later on, I earned money. I made my own money through hard work. And then when I had the money, I invested some paid money into a mentor, which took me to another level. So that's my message. Anyone who has physically hasn't got any money for my coaching or any coaching, use free mentorship, the videos, the streams, the events. Don't make excuses because it's not true when you're saying it's my fault or it's someone else's fault. It's your responsibility. I can understand if everything was paid, you weren't getting nothing for free, then you'd be right, but it isn't the case. I do the free meetups, I do the free streams, the videos, so much stuff. Um, but for those of you that have got the money and you can afford it and you really want to change, invest your money in a mentor. It'd be the smartest investment you've ever made. Investing in my coaching I'm telling you, it will be a better investment than any Bitcoin, any trading, because you're working with someone who cares. And if you're committed, I will do everything I can to help you, and your future will be better from investing. So that would be my advice: to invest your money wisely rather than spending your money on things that are not healthy for you. So I can't be any more fairer than that. And that's the business model that I teach anyone that does my business coaching, how to have good integrity. When you're building a business, you deserve the right to make good money when you've got a skill and you're changing people's life and you're giving your time. But you also create some platforms that are free, that help people that are less fortunate, that don't have the money, and you help them that way, and then everybody gets help, and everybody gets blessed that way, and then there's no excuses. So I'll end it on that. A little bit of there's some great little bit of business advice for you guys. I know you guys are smart, you'll appreciate it, but I know most of you do appreciate it. So I'm not speaking to most of you because you're good people, but there's always a few people that will complain. And if, again, they've got it's all good, it's all positive. They've got their right to their opinion, but it's not true. You know, it's you use what you have. You know, if you want to be successful in life, you've got to pay in some way. If you haven't got financially the investment, you've got to put your energy, you've got to make an effort. You know, come to a free event. Yeah, you know, I remember my mentor used to say the same. People would complain about his prices, that he was charging too much, but he said when I done a free event, the people that were complaining that I was charging too much, they didn't turn up. So it was excuses. It wasn't the money, it was fear speaking. So be careful what excuses you're making, because those excuses are stopping you from being successful. You know, and I want every good person on this channel to improve their confidence, their mental health, and I want their finances to be blessed as well. That's one of the things I prayed for in 2017. I prayed, I said, bless my finances, Lord, and I will help as many people as I can to bless their finances and improve their financial situation and all aspects of their life. All right. So we'll end on that because I'm running out of breath here. I appreciate everyone coming on. Look forward to seeing you on next events and next live stream. What should we end on? Let's end on a good word. What can we end on? We're going to end on the Les Brown quote, which I love. It always makes me emotional. Failure equals success, and whatever you want in life is going to be a fight, but you will fail your way to success. Thank you, Les Brown.